Kamala Harris is the gift that keeps on giving. Yes, I know that was a jarring transition, but remember, we can all be thankful that Kamala Harris isn't the one going to Quantico tomorrow to meet with all the generals. But even then, if she was president, she probably wouldn't do that anyway, because, I don't know, she doesn't do anything important or necessary at any point in time. But she is the gift that keeps on giving if you like the gift of mockery, and that mockery coming from this show. Kamala Harris gave a speech over the weekend, which really highlighted to me, she's still on her book tour. She's trying to sell this book where she blames everybody but herself for her failed presidential campaign. But she said some things that I thought were actually really interesting, and interesting in the way of, oh, you guys don't get it. Watch this clip and we'll discuss why all the libs are wrong on this point. Check it out.
The universities, law firms, media corporations, the titans of industry who have been so quick to kneel before a tyrant. But I'll tell you who refuses to capitulate: the people. When a president with a fragile ego couldn't take a joke and brought down the weight of the federal government to silence the voice of a citizen.
Yeah, I'm realizing that I think that's what these people think happened. I think what libs think happened is that President Trump was offended by a joke. I think one of the biggest things in this whole Kimmel situation, and again, I don't want to relitigate all of this, but is they left the clip too long. Kimmel made an absurd, horrendous accusation in some comments, and then after it was like a 45-second joke about President Trump that, you know, you either thought funny or it wasn't, but that wasn't what got him kicked off the air. First of all, the federal government didn't do anything. They didn't actually try to revoke licenses. They didn't do anything specifically, and especially compared to what the last administration did do, making the case that they had a huge impact is pretty laughable. What had the impact was the fact that he said something awful and the viewers revolted. But I think the main point here is that they don't know why Kimmel was kicked off the air. They think it was a joke. When no, I don't need to re-explain to you. The actuality of it was when he said, well, MAGA is trying to act like Charlie Kirk's shooter wasn't one of their own. That was the heinous and ridiculous thing that Kimmel said that got him booted off the air. But apparently dum-dums like the DEI former vice president don't know that. And interestingly enough, scrolling through social media, you start to figure out, holy cow, more people don't know that than I think, which is concerning. What is also concerning is the continuation, like we talked about with Newsom's folks, in heating up the rhetoric. Again, let me know if you think this is tamping it down, because all of the libs who, again, by the way, are doing the overwhelming majority of all the political violence, and you can find that information pretty much anywhere, are still ratcheting up the rhetoric, evidenced by one Kamala Harris. Watch how she ends her speech at the Congressional Black Caucus dinner thing that she was at. Check this out.
At a time such as this, it demands one thing for sure. We must fight fire with fire. So CBC, let's get to work. Thank you.
That was her final line. I wanted to leave that tail end in there a little bit to show, like, yeah, that was her stinger. That was the I'm gonna walk off, drop the mic. We've got to fight fire with fire. And considering the fact that all the libs in Portland and all of the rioters around the country consistently use fire, what do you think they're going to take that as? God, follow your own advice at the very least. If you want to ratchet down the rhetoric, maybe don't say fight fire with fire. Unfortunately, though, it does get worse. Kamala's protege, Jasmine Crockett, who, again, I am a proponent of. I think Jasmine Crockett should be given a microphone any chance that she gets, because she makes my job incredibly easy by how idiotic the things that she says are, is also not ratcheting down any of the political rhetoric. Here she is blaming right-wingers for all of the violence. Again, we're not the ones that are rioting in the streets. We're not the ones that are assassinating people in broad daylight. We're not the ones taking shots at presidents. And yet, for some reason, this is what Jasmine Crockett thinks about this. Check this out. You
The
know,
violence doesn't come from Democrats, just to be clear. I mean, obviously, anyone can be a criminal, but it is MAGA. It's specifically MAGA faction. Like, I don't think traditional Republicans are getting engaged in all of this, but like, even when we look at, and they don't talk about the assassination attempts anymore that took place with Donald Trump, but these were Trump supporters, right? As well as this most recent situation, they tried to flip it and say, "Oh, the leftists," or I'm like, this doesn't even make sense, right? But it's only like MAGA that does this.
yeah. First of all, what's going on with that dress? Like, who said that? Hey, if you dress up like one of the flags that a referee in the NFL throws, but then like put Lady Gaga's shoulder pads on it. That's a good idea. Great. But also to address the things that she actually said. What? I don't even think this warrants a response. Like, there are arguments to be made if arguments are brought in good faith, but if you're just going to flat out say things that everybody knows to be untrue, do we have to respond? I'm actually curious. TPT at tpusa.com. Do we dig into this sort of stuff more, or do we just roll our eyes and hope that the American people understand that what she's saying is patently false? MAGA is responsible for all the violence, and the most recent incident that everyone's talking about, oh yeah, all MAGA. And then she says, oh, I'm not talking about Republicans, I'm talking about MAGA. I don't know if she's seen the polling or witnessed the 2024 election. It's kind of the same thing. The people that voted for Donald Trump is who you're talking about. And if you're going to say that they are the ones perpetrating the most violence, I don't even have an argument for you. I really just pity you as much as I pity all of the other people who apparently are detached from reality, including this chucklehead, the DEI Vice President Kamala Harris.